were in high school.
Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm working out here in our very messy garage to give this new to me dresser a little bit of a makeover to fit our new master bedroom space that I'm working on. I'm so excited about it. I want this new bedroom of ours to have a very collected over time look and feel, and one of the best ways to achieve that look is by purchasing things secondhand and just kind of giving them a little spruce up or makeover to make them fit your space. And so this will be my first project for the new room, and I'm really excited about it. So thanks so much for being here, and I hope you enjoy the video.
I'll call you my sweetheart and promise nobody can steal me away.
I found this dresser a couple of weeks ago on our local Facebook marketplace, and when I first got it home, I washed it down really well inside and out with some warm water and dish soap. I then let it dry nicely, and I let it air out each day here in the garage with the door open, leading up to the point now where I'm ready to work on it. This just helped kind of freshen it up a little bit and allow it to get rid of any kind of storage smell or musky smell that was there before.
Baby, I only want you.
I'm going to be using a chalk paint to finish this dresser, and normally like a chalk paint is nice because you don't have to do any prep work, but because this dresser seemed to have a few coats of like a varnish on it, I wanted to make sure that all of that was taken care of and I didn't have to worry about bleed through. So I'm taking the time to give it a good sanding, and that way I'll be able to put a nice coat of primer on it before moving on to the chalk paint.
'Cause I want you and I wanted you to know. As he sang, she started.
For this step, I am using a more coarse grit sandpaper block just because I wanted to be sure I can remove as much of that varnish finish as possible before adding paint.
Kept on dancing.
Now I'm going to start working on the actual drawers, and the first step is to remove the old hardware. I don't want to use this hardware. I'm going for more of that kind of cottagecore, simple, very vintage and neutral vibe for this dresser. I think it will complement our room makeover really well, and so I'm going to be switching to some just regular wood knobs that I plan on painting the same color as the dresser. Because I'm going to be switching out the hardware and the holes will not be an exact match, I'm going to have to cover these old holes, fill them in, and then drill new holes for the new cabinet knobs that will take their place. I'm going to be using this wood filler to fill in the old holes. I like this one because you can sand it and you can paint it, and I've used it in the past and had success with it, so hopefully it will work for this one as well. A quick wipe down just with a damp cloth before I add the primer.
Show me what it's like to be circling among the clouds, because without you by my side.
I'm going to go with this shellac-based primer. Shellac primer is the best primer I've found to actually cover well and prevent bleed through from old wood stains, especially in this situation where I'm trying to cover old varnish.
Your eyes are shining like the stars. I was down until you saved me, until you set me free. My eyes were closed, now I see clear as day, and I just wanted to say that you can take me high. Feels like I can fly. You can take me high.
While that's drying, I'm going to go ahead and start sanding this first coat of wood filler. I'm seeing pretty quickly that I'm going to have to at least do a second coat just to fill in the holes more completely. I'm trying to get them as smooth as possible so you can't really see them after I have it painted.
Until you saved me, until you set me free. My eyes were closed.
The primer dried extremely fast. I think it's because it was just such a hot day on this day. So I went ahead and sanded it down with a light, fine grit sandpaper just to smooth out the primer and prep it for the chalk paint.
I don't need anybody, I don't need anybody else.
Here's a close-up of the way the primer looks right before I add the chalk paint. It's not perfect, and it definitely doesn't have to be. You just want to get a good coating on there to keep any of that wood varnish or wood stain coming through.
Without you.
I decided to try this Annie Sloan chalk paint. As much as I've painted in my days, I have never actually used this brand of paint, and I hear mixed reviews on it. Some people say it's definitely worth the price, others say it's not, so I thought I would just try it for myself and see. It is significantly more expensive than like a Valspar or even the Rust-Oleum chalk paint, but I definitely wanted to try it out at least once and kind of see what all the fuss is about. I will say so far it's a really thick paint, thicker than any of the other chalk paints I've tried to use, but it does go on pretty smoothly, and I can see I, at most may need 2 coats of this to cover completely. It's a really hot day, and I think that is part of my problem here. The paint is just drying really fast, but that's definitely due to our weather and not the actual paint.
Ain't gonna keep it low now. If you wanna go, let's go. Let's wrap it up and hit the road. I just got an awesome vibe, striking the winner post now. Liberty's on my mind. We've taken out.
For a little update on where I am with sanding the wood filler, I should have actually used wood putty. I don't know what I was thinking. I just grabbed wood filler, not thinking about the holes being as large as they are, but really a wood putty would have worked much better, but I think the filler will work fine. It's just taking me more than 1 coat. Probably it's going to end up taking me about 3, but here's after 2 coats and sanding again. You can see there's just a little bit of a dip in each spot where the old hardware holes are. And so I'm going to go over that again and then maybe fill in with just a little bit of just regular vinyl spackling and see if that'll smooth it down pretty good. We'll see, but definitely think it would have been easier if I had went with the putty. But I did drag these drawers out here in the sun. It's a really hot day, and so it's helping me dry this filler a lot quicker so that I can get on with my project. I'm so impatient when it comes to waiting on paint to dry and things to set up, but the sun is helping, and like I said, I think 1 more coat and 1 more sanding, and these will be ready to go ahead and prime.
You will never regret the things that we'll do. 'Cause I wanna drive through the summer night, and when
I am going to go ahead and add just a little bit of vinyl spackling as a final effort to smooth these out. I think this will work, especially once everything is sanded down and painted. The first coat of chalk paint is nice and dry, so I'm going to go ahead and lightly sand over everything just to smooth it out with a fine grit sandpaper block, and then I'll be ready to add the second coat.
our hearts will be whole again, I want to remember all that happened to us. 'Cause
The second coat is going on much smoother, and I'm really loving this color. So far, I'm really happy with this paint and the way it's going on, so I'll be interested to see if it is more durable in the long run as far as just daily wear and tear.
the summer night,
I've sanded the drawer fronts and wiped them clean, and now I'm going to go ahead and start with the first coat of primer on these. And I'm already able to tell that the nail holes are basically covered all the way. I don't think they're going to be noticeable at all once this dresser is done.
Look away. Somehow you turned my life completely upside down.
I wanted to show you the way it looks after the second coat of chalk paint went on, and then once that dried, I went ahead and sanded it. But that's a super important step for chalk paint, and it's one of the reasons I really like it so much, is because once you get that coat on, the paint is pretty thick, but once that second coat is on and you sand it out and buff it out with a fine grit sanding sponge, it's just as smooth as can be. And so I just kept sanding until the paint was nice and smooth, and now it's ready for wax. And here is what the first coat of primer on the drawers looks like. You can see a little bit of an indentation there where I tried to cover over those holes, not using the correct material, but I think it'll be just fine. I'm gonna clean these, sand them down, and give them a couple of coats of the chalk paint, basically doing the same thing that I did on the actual dresser portion. And so we'll see how it all comes together.
I still can stand, but every time I think these scars about to mend, no matter where I lay my head, another town, another bed, no matter what I do, I'm still gonna be dreaming.
Here are the wood knobs I mentioned earlier. I just bought these off Amazon. I think it came in maybe a pack of 15 or 16. So I have plenty left over for a future project. But to make it easier to paint them, I just used a cardboard box and actually put the screw through the bottom and twisted on the knob. That way it's nice and secure, and I can easily paint all the way around the knob without having to actually touch it.
Nothing better than your kiss, something that I can't resist. Can't forget the nights you were mine.
The second coat of paint on the drawer fronts is going on now, and then they will be ready for wax.
Still gonna be dreaming of you. No matter where I lay my head, another town, another bed. And no matter what I do, I'm still gonna be dreaming of you. No matter who I try to love, it's always you I'm thinking of. No matter what I do, I'm still gonna be dreaming of you.
We are finally in the home stretch of this dresser makeover, and I'm ready to add the wax. I do want to go over the entire piece just with a nice clean damp cloth, just to remove any kind of dust that may still be lingering from sanding before. I'm going to be using the Annie Sloan clear chalk paint wax for this project. I thought I would go ahead and get that since I'm already using the paint. I wanted to have everything kind of go together. And so far I'm really liking the wax. It goes on nice and smoothly, very similar to the furniture wax by Minwax that I was using before, other than the fact that it's not clear like this one. But to do this, I just use a clean t-shirt that I've cut up. I save old shirts and things that we're just going to toss out, and I use them for cleaning rags or to, use on projects like this, and they always come in handy. But it's just a clean, lint-free cloth that I can use to slowly buff the wax into the paint. feels really nice to finally have one little corner in our future bedroom finished. I'll definitely, probably change things out here and there, but overall this is the look I'm going for. Very simple and casual, definitely some cottage vibes and some shaker style going on, just a mix of things that I truly love. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks so much for watching. If this is your first time visiting, I hope you'll stick around and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on future videos. Again, I really appreciate you guys being here, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.